We're here with Lou Tyson at Route 66 Museum. He's going to show us around.
Good morning. Welcome to the museum.
Thank you.
The museum consists of 3 rooms. This is our main Route 66 room and gift shop. All of our day-to-day operating funding comes from purchases from the gift shop and or donations. The second room is our communications, transportation, and sites along Route 66. And our third room is our Victorville room. The Victorville room consists of pictures from 1860 up until right after World War II, all in pictures.
Wow.
And at the far end of the hallway, we have our tribute to Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. We can sit you in our 60s booth area where you can sit and take pictures.
Let's take a look at that.
Okay. And we also have a jukebox. Unfortunately, after the pandemic, it had a problem with it, so we're waiting for the maintenance to come up. And we also have a 1960s Coca-Cola machine. And we also have our 1917 Model T pickup truck. In 1917, this was the first year Ford made pickup trucks.
Oh, wow. That is a beauty.
Yes. As you can see, it's nothing more than a big wagon with a motor attached to the front. The wheels are still made out of wood on the edge, and the controlling surfaces for the vehicle is as follows. This is a good picture of it, but the throttle itself is on your right-hand side. The spark is on the left-hand side. The parking brake, the first pedal over, which normally would be a clutch for us old folks, that is your gear selector, high, low, neutral, and it's operated like a motorcycle. It pushes up and down.
How interesting.
The second pedal is for reverse, and then where your gas pedal should be at, that's your brake.
Did they come because of that? Over $1 million.
And there's the 3 pedals he's talking about.
Yes.
Okay. What else you got to show us?
Well, if you, I'd like to show you the Cheech and Chong, or the Flower Power Mobile. This originally was, the outer skin was a project for the Victorville College, and then once they got the grade on it, then they asked us if we would take it over. We put the base, the wheels, and the parts, like the antenna, the mirrors, steering wheel, all of these came from foreign countries. We had put up a wish list, what we needed, and then they sent us the parts. The headlights and the marker lights, they were sent from Sweden.
Very cool. All right, what else you got to show us?
Okay, we have one item. We have, this is one of the original TV sets. It's even smaller than most computer screens, and it's just a little bit larger than your telephone.
Wow.
This is what we call the magic of your mind. Before television, we had radios that we would listen to in the old days, before TV came out. This is a washing machine from the Dust Bowl era. You hook this to a car or a tractor battery. This is before electricity, that AC electric as we know of now. This was operated by DC power.
Wow. So about what age, like what year would that be from?
The 1930s during the Dust Bowl era.
Okay.
So that's where that came out of. And this one is our famous outhouse. We had a Sears or Roebuck catalog we used, and when things get tough, we use this for toilet paper.
Ouch.
Now in the opposite room, this was a travel trailer which originally was started back in the 1920s. This here, originally, it cost $60. But then, the $60, you had $5 for the blueprint, and then you had to go to the lumber yard to build the rest of it, like IKEA.
That is super cool.
This vehicle would be pulled behind a 4-cylinder car. And when you got this up to 55 miles an hour, you could actually watch the body rise off of the axle. It was held on by the springs and the shock absorbers. And then once you drop below 55 miles an hour, then it would drop back down onto the chassis.
How interesting. And that looks like it's currently tagged and everything.
Yeah, we keep it tagged just like we do for the Model T. Even though it's a historical vehicle, we still have to keep it tagged for insurance purposes,
Okay.
just like this car. Now, the other item that I love showing people are the fingernails. Even though they wouldn't let me keep the fingers,
Fingernails.
the
huh?
fingernails, when you blow it up, it shows Route 66 from Santa Monica all the way to Chicago.
That's
all across
super
all the
cool.
states.
Wonder who they used to belong to.
They were, I wish I knew. But I always joke to say that they wouldn't let me keep the fingers. This was originally on Santa Monica Pier until they gave them a new building. So when they gave them the new building, they asked if we would caretake this for them.
Very nice.
Now this is our Victorville room. This room is historical value because this is the oldest picture in the museum. This was taken in 1860. The picture under it was done 90 years later from approximately the same spot.
Wow. What a difference.
Yes. We have many things in here that a lot of people will remember from their childhood, such as a typewriter, which many of us learn how to use in our primary years in school. We also have a wooden water pipe that supplied water to Victorville and Oro Grande. And this water supply came from the Mojave River, which was across the street from us. This is the pictures as you circle the room, started from 1860 all the way around to the second picture underneath that will cover the entire span from 1860 up until World War II. This is where a lot of the pictures came from. And all of these came out of private sources.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Oh, one more place. The Monopoly board. Even though the sign says 40 years old, this was done in the 60s. Each of the cities up here in the desert, they relied on tourism. So to keep it, the tourism coming, they did a Milton Bradley board of Monopoly.
Okay.
But the one difference between it, all of the spots on this board you had to bid on, and this were active businesses that were here in the 1960s.
So every one of those spots on that board are active businesses from the 60s from Victorville only.
Yes.
Wow.
I did not know Chuck E. Cheese was around that long.
I didn't either.
But next time I go to Chuck E. Cheese with my nephews, he better have some gray hair.
Very true.
But these are the areas that that you would be interested in. And if you came into the museum, we could give you a self-guided auto tour between here and Barstow of some of the spots along Route 66.
Thank you.
Okay. Now this is our road tribute to Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. As a kid growing up in New York City, I saw Roy and Dale at the Madison Square Garden as a child, and they were about that big when I saw them in Madison Square Garden, and Dale was a little bit shorter. But Trigger, Buttermilk, Bullet was nothing more than a dot running across the floor because I had to sit up in the nosebleed section. But I was able to meet Roy before he died in, of all places, Walmart. But these are some of the items the museum were able to get from him. And the different stories that we've heard from the Sins of the Pioneers, a couple of them used to come in and they would talk with us. We also have, when Roy died, until we meet again, and then a couple of years later, his wife, Dale Evans, died. And they were very famous for our area because in Apple Valley, we did not have a cemetery. So Roy donated part of his property to make a cemetery for us.
Wow, very nice.
So that's one of the things I would always remember about him. And you can see the pictures up here. He always had children with him, and he had the two, Dusty and the young lady, and the others were all adopted. And as they went out of the adoption system, turning 18, he would set them up in apartments and help them find jobs. And then once they were settled, they would bring another group. So
Wow.
That was one thing I admired about him. And I seen him in Molly's restaurant. I saw him stand outside. Temperature must have been about 32 degrees. Nobody bothered him in the restaurant, but when he went outside, people started asking for autographs. The man stood there almost a half hour in 32-degree weather signing autographs, and when he finished the last one, you could see he was visibly vibrating from the cold.
No doubt.
That is my outside of meeting him in Walmart, that was the biggest thrill I had gotten with him.
What a hero he was.
Yes. Don't make them like him anymore. Yeah. So.
And this is a Buick?
Yep. Before they started making cars, this was what they made wagons.
And what do you have there?
This is self-guided auto tour between the museum and Barstow. And this is the summary. And we have the page. If you have a secondary odometer, you would set it at 0, and then as you move east on Route 66, it will take us to the different areas all the way into Barstow train station.
Wow. Super cool.
Yes. The one thing I like to point out is that the Imogene's Hollenberger, that's where they filmed Kill Bill 2, part of it in there when she dug her way out of the ground. Ironheart Saloon, that's where the Erin Brockovich, the real one, and her boss, and the movie was made in Ironheart Saloon. And we have some other places along the way that is not as popularly known, but we keep it for Route 66 purposes.
Very cool. Thank you very much for all your time today. This was an amazing tour. There's just a ton of stuff in here we didn't get the chance to see, so come check it out.
Yes.